Hello and welcome to Professor Pincushion. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can easily make your own spool holder. The nice thing about it is it's customizable according to your needs, and you can hang it on the wall so it stays out of your way or lay it flat on the table like I have it here. Let's go ahead and get started. Here are some of the supplies I'm going to be using. First thing is my wooden plaque. Now you can use whatever size or shape that you want. I just picked this up at my local craft store and I like it because it has the finished edge. It's 3/4 of an inch in the width. I also have some wooden dowels here. Now I'm using two different sizes. I have 1/4 inch for my regular spools, and then I have 3/16 for my bobbin holders. Now it really depends on how many pegs you can fit on your board is going to determine how many of these wooden dowels you're going to need. You're also going to need some sort of saw in order to cut the dowels, which I don't have right here. Out of one dowel minus 36 inches, I can get 20 pegs. So that can help determine also how many you're going to need. I have some wood glue, some masking tape, a ruler, pencil, a hanging fixture that we're going to put on the back so we can hang it up, and some tiny nails to secure that. Sandpaper, either 100 grit or finer. And then I have my drill. So you can see my two drill bits that I'm going to use in my drill. Now I actually did a sample on a scrap piece of wood I have to determine what size I'm going to need for my wooden dowels here. So I have 1/4 inch for the 1/4 inch dowel, and this one is 13/64 for my 3/16 dowel. The first thing I'm going to do is cut down my wooden dowels into individual pegs. Now the length is really up to you. This is just what I did. For my 1/4 inch wooden dowel, I did a mark at 1 5/8. So this means that I'm including 3/8 of an inch that is going to go into my wooden plaque. So then it's going to stick up 1 1/4, which gives me a total of 1 5/8. So I grab my pencil and I just go down and mark 1 5/8. So that's what this one is already cut. So you're going to use your saw or whatever you have, and you're going to cut it on each of your pencil lines. For my smaller one, this is the 3/16, I did it a little bit shorter. So this is 1 3/8. So again, it's going to go into the wood 3/8 of an inch, which means it's going to stick up 1 inch. If your ends are rough, go ahead and use your sandpaper to sand them. Next, I'm going to take my masking tape and I'm going to put it onto my wooden plaque. So this is going to help me in creating my grid. Now creating the grid is going to make sure that everything is evenly spaced, but I'm using the masking tape so then I can draw my board, and if I make a mistake, I can just rip off the tape and start again. It's a good idea to use a pencil for this. I'm just using a marker so it's a little bit easier for you to see. So the first thing you want to do, especially if you have sort of an odd shape like I do, is you want to do a line that marks the center going this way and the center going this way. From my vertical center line, I'm then going to draw lines going out. So the space between these lines is 1 5/8. Now this is for both sides of these spools, the little ones and then the medium sized ones. If you're just going to do these smaller spools, you can make your lines a little bit closer together, but this gives you a little bit flexibility in the size. Next, I'm going to make an X at each point where I want to drill a hole. So you're going to start with your center line, and where you have your little crosshairs of the lines intersecting, you're going to draw an X. From the center point, you're going to measure out 1 5/8, do another X, 1 5/8, do another X. Just make sure that you don't get too close to the edge. I just want to point out that you can definitely vary this in order to accommodate your needs. For example, down here at the bottom, I have a couple of giant spools that I need to accommodate. So I made this line a little bit further than 1 5/8, and also these X's are a little bit further apart. So I can have one of my giant spools down here, and I can still fit one of these medium-sized spools here. Now on this end, you'll notice my lines are a little closer together, as are the X's, and this is also to accommodate my bobbins. So since these are a little bit smaller, I can fit some of them here and still accommodate regular spools next to it. Now for the fun part. Grab your drill and start drilling where you have your X's. Now the masking tape will also be beneficial in this part because it'll help cut down on the splintering around the edge as you drill down. Also, I want to point out that I like putting the size of drill bit that I'm using for each line. That way I don't get confused and I'm using the right size. So the 13/64 would be for my smaller wooden dowels, which are the 3/16. It's a little bit bigger, the 3/16, but sometimes you just have to experiment, make a hole, and then go ahead and test it and make sure that it's going to fit. It's better to start smaller, and that way you can go bigger if you need to than the other way around. I'm using the 1/4 inch drill bit for creating the hole for my 1/4 inch dowel. Also on my drill bit, I put a piece of tape marking where the 3/8 line is. So from here to here is 3/8. So when I'm drilling, I can stop when I hit this edge of the point, and that way I'm always doing the same depth and I'm not accidentally going too far. Once you finish creating all your holes, go ahead, grab your sandpaper and give it a light sanding. I also take a very small piece of sandpaper, roll it up in a tight roll, and stick it into each individual hole. Take this, flip it over to the back, give it a good tap so any debris that's inside the holes can come out. Before I put in my pegs, I'm going to flip this over and attach my hanging bracket. So I got this from a picture hanging set. So it comes with a bracket and then 2 little nails. I'm going to put this near the top of whatever I would consider to be the top of my wooden plaque. Now obviously you can skip this step if you just plan to keep this flat like on a table. Lastly, you're going to take all your pegs and you're going to place them in the holes. So I like to use my wood glue. I find it easier just to put a few drops into the hole. You want to make sure that you don't put too much. Otherwise, when you put your peg in, some of it can start seeping out and then you can just wipe it with a cloth or your finger. Also, you maybe want to do a couple of taps with your hammer on the peg to get it in there. Make sure to check the back of your glue bottle to see what their recommendation is for drying time. I'm going to let mine dry for 12 hours before I use it. As an option, you can paint your spool holder so that it'll match your decor. Now you can go ahead, hang it up, and it's ready to be put to use. New tutorials are released weekly, so please subscribe to be notified of the next release. Make sure to check out our other videos and visit ProfessorPincushion.com to view our complete library with well over 200 sewing video tutorials, including our exclusive premium content. Our premium membership is only $5 a month for unlimited access and only available at ProfessorPincushion.com. Also, don't forget to download our mobile app for videos on the go. Thanks for watching.